What up, guys? Welcome back to
Hey, guys.
episode 8 or 9, whatever it is. Today's part 2.
Part 2 of how to stand on Christian morals and basically like stand in your faith even though the world is a chaotic place and there's lots of conflicting views out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Snack of the week.
What is it?
Trolley.
Oh, these things are really good.
Do not put your hand in here or else I will actually hurt you. There you go.
Why are you giving him all of it? Give one to me at least. Daniel.
In the mouth.
All right, no,
I'll
I'm good with
I'll
one.
take
Here,
one.
Daniel, you can have like 2 more. I'm just 1 on 1.
Okay.
Pretty good.
Alright, well,
I just need to wake up because I'm tired. Yeah, that's why I took one.
now that we've eaten all of that, Sophia, share with us what we're doing.
Okay, so last time we kind of went into what do we mean by things like Christian morals? What do we mean by a chaotic world, a broken world? And then we also talked about kind of discerning God's voice when we're trying to like talk about an issue. So I would recommend go watch that first if you haven't already. But today we're going to be kind of looking at what the Bible says and then specifically talking about making wise decisions and asking people for advice and how to weigh the opinions of other people with God's final word, like what God says is, the law. And so first off, we have Romans 12:2. Daniel, do you want to read it for us? It's like
Yes.
right here.
Romans 12:2.
Romans 12:2.
Gotcha. Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you're able to test and approve to what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will.
Okay, yeah. So this basically says, like, don't live in the patterns of the world, but live according to what God says. So how can we actually, like, live out this verse?
Can I first just say that what a chapter Romans 12 is? Top tier chapter in the Bible.
Top tier.
Top tier. All of them are top tier, but this is like S plus tier, Anyways, just wanted to say that.
So how can we live out this verse, like, practically speaking, just in life?
I think it's like talking about, living out what God's like will is, I guess.
Mhm.
And that like through time and commitment with God, you'll truly be able to see to what his good will is. But
Yeah.
it's talking like it's going to take time. So I think living this out in real life, it's going to be a commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And then knowing that it's also going to be sometimes at times challenging.
Yeah.
But in the long end, you'll be able to attest to what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to be able to attest to it, you have to, like you said, like, lived it, and that's going to be a process.
Yeah, I would say I'm gonna quote somebody here, and the person I'm actually gonna quote is right here, Daniel Sokol. And so a couple episodes ago, this guy went, we need to live in the world but not of the world,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think this is another verse where it's talking about that, right? We're living with worldly people, we're influencing them, but we're not being
Yeah.
influenced by worldly things,
Mm-hmm. So what about specifically when it comes to navigating the media? Because there's a lot of stuff out there on the media, and I feel like this verse has some good concepts that we can bring into navigating, like, all the voices out there, news, social media, random people on Instagram.
I think 2 things. Firstly, always if you see something, do research on it. Don't take people's word on it, and go to God to it, obviously, right? Because he knows the truth. He knows everything. He knows what's actually good. And then secondly, and this is something that I recently did, is just stop being on media so much. Like, something that I do, I've never had Instagram, but I've had YouTube. and I have LinkedIn, and I spend way too much time on YouTube, especially YouTube Shorts. So recently, me and Daniel did a challenge, right? 48 hours
Guys,
without.
I lasted 48 hours.
But that challenge like really had an impact on me. And so like a week ago, I decided that I wasn't going to watch YouTube Shorts anymore. So I found an app where, because I mean, long form content's not bad because you can learn a lot more from it, get a lot more information from it, and it's not addictive. But those short form content is bad. So I just completely blocked YouTube Shorts on my phone, and I can't get to it anymore. So I would recommend y'all at least try that for a little bit, and that's also gonna give you less misinformation going off of what you were saying.
Yes, James.
I think really fast. There's a balance with that. It's like do your research, one thing, because I think you need to be like knowledgeable about what's going on in the world, but also like what you're saying, like limit the amount of voices that you have on that, and like especially like drama people that are just in it for like likes and stuff. So
I feel also like this is something that me and my dad have really been diving into in our like devotional stuff that we do together. It's Philippians 4:8, I think. And it talks about like whatever is true, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is noble, whatever is lovely or admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think on such things. And I think that like in a lot of media, there's a lot of things out there that, aren't praiseworthy, aren't, true, aren't pure. All these things that Paul's telling us, like, this is what God wants you to think about. And so just putting them, you don't have to, like, checklist it, like, every time, right? But just thinking, like, is this something that God would be pleased with, I think that's how you can deal with a lot of media. Because a lot of media is just, like, trying to get your, like, your attention by throwing something out there that's unique or, like, something that, I guess, isn't always the best for us. Yeah.
And it does say this verse, like, be transformed by the renewing of your mind, which implies, like, the way you think about things.
Which verse?
The Romans 12 verse. Yeah. Oh, no, the Philippians is different. But, which is interesting because I think sometimes, like, when we're used to doing things by the world standards, we're used to, like, feeding into the drama or, like, feeding into the stress or anxiety or whatever we get from the media. But then God tells us, like, the opposite. Like, no, I want you to feed in, like, to what's good and wholesome and, like, what's true and honorable and all these things. And so I think that it's also a process where, like, God will help you, like, change how you think about things and change, like, how you view the world. So, do you have anything, Sebastian?
I was actually just thinking, like, especially as of the time we're recording, of all the things that is going on in the world right now, like whether it's the stuff in the Middle East, here in the U.S., out of everything that is going on, and even locally, there's a lot of things that's been going on. There's a lot of people that are throwing a lot of information around, and a lot of it is completely irrelevant, and a lot of it is also just completely false. So especially if you're on social media, fact check everything that you see. Even if it's like from, let's say, the White House, because the White House has a lot of social media accounts, especially now, which is it's kind of interesting that they do. Don't get me wrong, and they do make some pretty cool edits, but But yeah, no, they literally have TikTok edits. You can go look them up. But fact check everything, even what the government says, even what the news says or whatever. Fact check it all. Everyone lies, especially in the government, especially in news. Even AI.
Guys, AI guys gets information from Reddit. Like, all right.
Not all Reddit.
No, not all of it. But
you
like,
get my
AI only is 73. Like, is only right 73% of the time. That's actually factual.
But yeah.
Yeah, we're at the point where AI is getting trained on AI.
Not good, guys. Not good.
Yeah, no, it's just a lot of, but my point here is like fact check everything and definitely be careful what you watch and the content you consume because eventually you will be influenced by that. And it will legit start to brainwash you. It will. Like, there's people who have completely changed just from watching certain videos and consuming a certain type of content.
Mm-hmm.
And they have become, sometimes, if they watch content that makes them better, they make them better. But if they consume content that was really bad, it would completely brainwash them. Like, it's all about the content you consume. It's all about the stuff that you watch, the stuff that you read.
The stuff that you listen to, yeah.
Exactly.
Well, this is a perfect transition because we're going to be talking about what it says in Matthew 10:16 that says, I'm sending you out like sheep among wolves. So, as believers in Christ, like as sheep among wolves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, be as shrewd as snakes and as innocent as doves. So, I think there's like call to action here. First off, he's saying like, hey, I want you to be wise. Like, I really want you to pursue wisdom. And I think that when it comes to, like, dealing with conflicting issues or dealing with weird content or, like, not truthful content or whatever, we have to like, really be wise and be intentional about it. Be intentional about how we interact with the content that we're getting, how we interact with the people around us, etc. But then it also says be as innocent as doves. So what do you guys think this verse is kind of like meaning? Like, give me some concrete examples here.
I think it's really diving into the thing of like, we have to still be active within the world, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, being like, you know, shrewd as what, serpents or whatever. Snakes, yeah. It's like, we really have to be wise and we have to like really like look into, I guess, more of the main problems.
Yeah, so one of my personal favorites and objectively one of the biggest themes throughout the Bible is us being sheep, God being the shepherd, and that extends to this verse here. Mm-hmm. He references us as sheep among wolves, right? And so we're the sheep. Part of that means that God will also protect us from the wolves, right?
Yeah,
I think, right? So like, yes, God is sending us out there, and so we need to be wise. We need to be strong, right? But also, God will protect us as well, right? So, yeah.
And I think sometimes it's like, just think about the disciples. Like, they were obviously being sent out like sheep among wolves. And there was a lot of physical protection. But they're also, like, they endured a lot of physical hardship. Yeah. And so I think you also have to realize, like, God's going to protect the things that matter most to him. And that's your heart, that's your mind, you know, that's, you know, confidence, faith, like those type of things are what really matter to God. But when we think about like long-term physically, you can endure a lot of physical hardship, but you can still have a sound mind. You can still have peace. You can still have joy in God. And then you're going to get to heaven. So I don't know. There's also that to be aware of. But like people like, it does say in the Bible, people will hate you at times for what you believe. And so I think it's important to go in with that awareness of like, just because you're a Christian and you're trying to do what's right doesn't mean everyone's going to just instantly love you. But also know, like James is saying, God is going to protect the things that really are most valuable. So.
Cool.
Anything else?
Any other comments, guys?
Does someone... Wait, we kind of need to pause. I need to look up Proverbs 27:17.
Oh, Proverbs 27:17. I guess in the meantime, we can just go over, like, what are some things have we actionably done to try to, I guess, be able to decipher in the media? Like, what have you guys done in your life that is a way of, like we were talking about, not just taking what people say for their word, but really, I guess, diving deeper to see behind the scenes. What have you guys done?
I know for me personally, I've done two things. So one of them is look at, like, all the different types of news channels on, like, one incident. So, like, for example, I look at a blue news channel, I look at a red news channel, and then I look at, like, the one that's in between or, like, some other random opinion.
Yeah, so, I mean, building off of what you were saying, a lot of news sources will report facts, but also will just leave out a lot of facts too, right? And so you need to be wary of that, right? Maybe they are saying truth stuff, but they're not saying all of the truth.
Yeah.
And then like an ultra specific example that happened in my life recently was, obviously we're in the U.S. I'd assume based off statistics, most of y'all are in the U.S. Primaries are going on right now, and so you have a lot of campaigning, a lot of that stuff. All that's big in the news, right? And I'm not going to mention any names, but there was a viral news story that one political candidate called another political candidate just a dumb black candidate, right? Something to the likes of that. That was not true whatsoever, right? Nobody knows how it came about, but it just wasn't true, and it spread like wildfire. And so go back to the source. Right, so a lot of news sources will actually also post sources. Where did they get this information? Go to there and be like, that's not, you took that way out of context, you know, or that's not at all what you said, you know. So look at the sources, go to the source, what did the source actually say?
Yeah, definitely. I think another thing is like getting the input of other people that you trust. And so there's some situations that are pretty complicated, and that there can be a lot of there can be two right answers to a lot of things.
Yeah.
Just depending on who you are, etc., whatever. And so Proverbs 27:17 talks about people, and so it says, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another," and that goes both ways. But when we're talking about in the context of going to other people for advice or other people for opinions, how does that verse kind of play into that?
I think iron sharpens iron. Two things of iron are very strong, right? So you're strong, they're strong. You'll make each other even stronger together and sharper together. But also, if you have a weak object, right, something that's not iron, you try and sharpen iron with it, right? So say wood, right? That's not going to work. You'll make your iron even duller.
Yeah.
Right, and so I think that's one thing that I've learned from this verse is, iron sharpens iron. Be with the right people, right, and you and your friend or your mentor will sharpen each other, make each other better people. But if you're around the wrong people, then they're gonna make you duller, right? They're gonna make you worse off, and so I think you need to be careful about that.
This is where I like to say that be careful of the people you are around, because even if you're like, oh, I don't actually take anything from them, they're just people I talk to, they will start to influence you. Going on in the years, you will start to become like them.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, when they do that, a lot of people's excuse is, oh, I'm influencing them, I'm being a good influence on them, helping them become a Christian, showing God's love. But in reality, you may think that, you may even truly believe that, but in reality, they're being more of an influence on you than you are on them.
Yep, absolutely. I've seen it a lot, especially in school. People try to tell people or try to influence people, and then those people who say, oh, I was trying to influence them, and drive them the right direction, let's say a year or two will go by, I see them just like that person. And they became that person. And it's sad because it's, unfortunately, it's everywhere, but you just gotta be careful. Be careful who you talk to, be careful who you talk about your problems to. Obviously, have that accountability partner to help guide you.
Yeah.
But be careful who that person is.
And I feel also you can definitely try to help people, but just like James was saying, having that friend group or one friend, that's your iron, sharpening each other. If you are in the constant practice of having someone who you're, sharpening each other, making each other stronger, then the stronger you get, the longer you can last. Against,
that's a good point too.
Wood, right? And so if say me and James, we're sharpening each other up, smooth, and we're just we're going good, then we'll be able to withstand, me trying to go influence someone for the better.
Yeah.
As long as, you keep on that pursuing of keep trying to get stronger. And so I think it's a healthy balance of both, you know, trying to influence others, but not just doing that without having anyone else to like lean on.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah,
Awesome.
cool. Anything else for today, guys?
I was about to say, basically going off of that for my people, be picky on who you choose to talk to and who your friend is.
For Sebastian Nation, that is a bar from Sebastian.
Be picky. I mean,
Seabass bars. Oh, that actually works.
Seabass bars.
Seabass
What
bars.
about like
New channel, Seabass bars.
Oh gosh.
Sophia's sequels? No, Sophia's.
we'll put that one into consideration.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, shorter
Awesome.
episode.
Yeah,
James is
episode.
saying something.
Guys, we're recording this on March 4th, okay? 2 days ago was the Top Tier holiday. None of y'all know this. None of y'all know this, okay? None of y'all know this. None of them know this.
He
okay?
texted us.
I
he
let
texted
them
all
know
of
this,
us
okay?
too.
2 days ago was Texapendence Day, okay?
Yeah,
100
Texas. Kiss the badge.
190 years ago, as of 2 days ago, Texas signed their Declaration of Independence against Mexico. And a couple months after that, Texas became independent.
Show him the socks, James. Show him
Oh
your
yeah,
true
so
fast
these are my socks. I have
Bend is. Look, it says I love Texas.
Daniel, why are you having this?
I have why are you touching my feet like that? Yeah, so literally every single day I wear a pair of Texas socks. I have about 10 unique pairs, 20 total pairs.
Dang.
And
He
then, you
just
know,
wears the same
I
ones
wear
every single
these
day.
shoes every single day. Not even joking. The only
That
time I
is
don't
fair.
wear those shoes is to church because they're supposed to be white. That tells you how much I've worn them.
Yeah, this guy's a
Yeah.
blue collar.
Just letting y'all know.
Okay, guys.
Put it on your Google Calendar. Texas Day, March
Great
2nd.
episode, though. Great episode. We'll see you
Alright.
guys
Yeah, what
next
an
time.
episode.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.